Yeah, just a second. Oh. Just a second, just a second.
You do it?
Yes, I'm almost done. No. So this, I know I sent it to you yesterday. I cannot find it now for some reason.
Well, I've just found it. I'll do it. Go on,
Okay,
you click on. I'll put it in.
thank you. Well, I think it will be the first month new, and we don't really teach it yet. So basically, with Screenlife, there are two ways right now of interactivity. The first one, we developed Google Chrome extension. It's called Screenlife Recorder, and Joanne will send you a link to it right now. And what it allows you to do is to record your screen so that it remains clickable. Let me try and show out my internet connection, honestly speaking, right now. But let me try. So that's the link where you can download it.
Yeah, it's in. Maybe if you turned your screen off and just spoke.
Can you allow me to show my screen, Karen?
Sorry, it's not giving me the option. It's highlighted for some reason.
Same here on mine, just tested it on here. It says disabled.
I don't know why that is.
Have you come through yours, Karen, or have you come through someone else's?
No, I've come through the account that we use every week and it's just not there. It's highlighted share screen. It's allowing me to share mine.
I'll Google it now.
It's not given, you know, the way usually it'd have like a little arrow at the side to show the options.
One suggestion, if you go to participants, Karen,
Yeah.
And then you click Maria's name, and then you should be able to click allow screen share or allow host, something like that. It won't show me on mine because I'm not the host.
It says make host.
Go on, then do that, and then Maria can give it back to you in a minute when she's done.
Okay, that's done.
Yeah. Okay, so Google Chrome.
Yeah,
so can you see my screen now?
Yes, yeah. Thanks, Maria.
Okay, so when you download the link, you can see the full Google Chrome screen, right? Can you see my arrow right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So when you download Google Chrome extension, it will add this small blue circle to your Chrome, which looks like you just press the record button. And then the Screenlife beta recorder will go, you'll see it. Basically, it's very simple. You can either turn on or turn off your mic so that you record your sound or not. And the same with your web camera. You can turn it on or you can turn it off. I'll turn it off for now because I don't think my camera can allow zoom and use the camera at the same time. So, and then huge blue button, it says start recording. And so then you go, for example, Liverpool. You Google Liverpool. Of course, the first thing you see is the soccer. And like you can go on Liverpool on Twitter. There's some news. There's Liverpool Soccer Club homepage. There's Liverpool Wikipedia, and all of that. I'll just, to stop it, you just go and press the button again, the red button, and then stop. And then it's saving. And then it plays. If I had my camera on, you would have seen me here instead of this red person. So it recorded my Google screen. Sorry, the internet is slow because I'm using Zoom and the extension at the same time. But basically here, you can see what I recorded my screen, but you see, I clicked the link. All the links remain clickable. Like it's the same page that I recorded, but now I can click on Liverpool Wikipedia right from my recording. So what this app is useful for to make, and I'll stop share screen right now, like vlogs. For example, if you want to do a review of some online shop, or there's a cultural event coming to Liverpool, John, and you want to make an announcement about it. You go to whatever is the website that tells you what is available over the weekend in Liverpool. And then all the links remain clickable. So once a person watches your video link, the viewer could click on the event he or she of this event, or buy tickets, or do anything like that. So it allows you to do short videos that remain clickable. This way, your viewer doesn't have to remember the link or copy the link. The viewer could click on everything from the video. It's also super useful to do educational videos, Martin. If you are doing a lecture, you could record yourself as a lecturer, and to Wikipedia or to whatever websites you want to add as additional information. And all of those websites and all of those additional links would remain clickable inside your video lecture. So it's a very useful tool to make educational content. We used it also for charity videos, for any videos where you need your viewer to follow you through your presentation and click on specific links on the internet. Right, it does record most of the websites. And if you start using it, please feel free to email me with bugs and errors, because it would be helpful for us so that we could fix them, because it's still in beta version. And then once you finish the recording, it allows you to save it. So it's only available with the link, or it's available for everyone online, and it would be saved on our like Screenlife YouTube, basically portal that's called Screenlife Recordings. Order is not finished yet, so you cannot really edit the videos that you made. It's all one shot, but you can do multiple shots, but you cannot edit them together. So that's the first thing. So the second thing that we can do with Screenlife videos, and honestly speaking, we can do it with any other video as well, is we developed special player tools which are not available yet for the broad audience. It's something we can only do in-house, but we can add clickable elements to the videos that were not clickable before. And by adding clickable elements to the videos, what we can do is we can add clickable banners inside the movies so that all the ads remain interactive. And we can create interactive content. We can do branches where the protagonist, I don't know, presses button A or button B, and depending on what protagonist, on what the viewer clicked for the protagonist, the story could take different paths. So we can branch the story. We can add simple games inside the video. What else we can do? We can add like social media links, social media profiles to our characters. So any other page of your character and get some additional information that would be helpful for your plot. Unfortunately, we don't have any content like that in English. We have only one film that is completely finished and is done in Russian, and you can go and see it. I'll send you the link here. Again, it's in Russian, but most of the interactive elements are within first 6 minutes. So you can just go and try and click different stuff, and you will see that everything is clickable, and there are like clickable elements that are highlighted. And also on minute 6, there is the branching where you can choose what your protagonist would do, and depending on that, different video is played in the player. So that's where we are right now with the interactive. It's basically the same player. It's different way how you record interactive stuff. Unfortunately, this player cannot be embedded at Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, at the platforms where you have most of your audience. But you could create landing pages for your films that would embed the player. You could also include the link to the player or to the embedded it on your Facebook, and that way lead the traffic to your movie. So that's how it works, and we would be very happy if you will try to explore the recorder and maybe come up with some new ways of how it could be used and what video could be created in interactive format and in Screenlife format using the recorder. That's honestly speaking I mean, I know Joanne was hoping for a longer lecture to add, but I would be happy to answer your questions.
I think, and that was perfect, Maria. To be honest with you, I think the big conversations that we've been having over, or certainly I've been having with a number of people, is just how the markets are moving quickly towards, you know, interactivity, as well as you know, the just sitting back and watching watching a film. So it was more about markets and just the way that things are changing, you know, in terms of entertainment. For me, I just thought it would be a really important topic for us to cover here, especially with the speed of change and the speed, you know, the technological advance. I just think we're in a really great place to be able to explore different ways of using the technology, and because it's right at the beginning, then let's think about new ways of how we can utilize it. Martin and I have talked about this for a long time. It's perfect for education, but I'm just sitting looking at my screen. I can see in Liam Hindle there, it's perfect for him too. And also there's a number of people who I just thought, Phil, maybe, you know, these are things where that this is a piece of technology that would just make life so much easier for you to just start your you know your recording on your dance company, just as an example, Liam, and then move it through the, you know, the clickable elements of it. I just think it's a really good a really good tool for a lot of our participants to use. Even there, Colin, there's so many people who it works really well for. Nick, just to think about different ways of how you can make things happen. So thanks for that, Maria. Has anybody got any questions?
I think you've just blown my mind, Maria. This is
Yeah, Maria, does it basically just cache the one link down from the page you see, and it doesn't traverse further?
Yeah, no, it saves the HTML code, so it saves the links. But if you click on the link, everything will remain clickable on the website that you clicked as well, because it basically it's a door to the open internet.
Yeah.
It's not really a recording.
Right. So it records the HTML, and then it requires you to have an active internet connection to follow them.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think the thing about not being able to edit yet isn't that big a deal if you do your storyboard before you start. So you know exactly, because I've just had a little play with it over the months. I'm thinking the minute I get more time to be able to move from one place to another and actually write down the journey that I'm going to go on. There was somebody else who was talking about the rabbit hole. Who pitched the rabbit hole scenario? You know, where the QAnon. Who was it?
AB, Andrew
Yeah.
Abraham.
So again, perfect for Andrew to be able to show exactly what he meant by the rabbit hole. You know, people starting with one thing and then ending up with just this massive information. And if you were to storyboard where you were going and actually think about your speed and the you know, the pace that you wanted your video to move, you could do it quite nicely. From beginning to end, doing a film which would take you on a journey right the way throughout the internet. I just think it's a really interesting tool to use.
yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
I think it would be great for the application within sort of, you know, museums and galleries and stuff like that, where you can really sort of go into the history and background of objects that appear within a narrative, you know, and similarly for a film narrative as well. You know, there's a whole opportunity to explore characters' backstories or the props they might carry or what significance they have to the story being told.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm also thinking of people like Keith in your educational videos that Keith's been working on, and the stuff, is it Anthony or Daniel? I'm not sure who's doing the Screenlife as a mode of advertising, using it for creating adverts.
Was it Phil?
It's
Was it Phil?
yeah.
Is it Phil? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think if we, you know, the next time we do this, and because of course it's only been the conversations that we've been having during the accelerator where I've been thinking about the properties and the value within that tool. You know, I mean, and again, how things will progress moving forward. You know, there's going to be just recognizing the you know, the value to that tool could make your life so much easier as we move forward.
It's also really amazing how that's come on in the last year, really, since we've been thinking about this. that technology just wasn't there
Mm.
previously. And it's a kind of indication of how quickly all of this is going to move into different space, and the content that you're going to be creating, this is going to become the norm. This is going to become normal.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how it could integrate with sports, because it'd be good for stats and the like.
Yeah.
I think, sorry, go on, Joanne. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go on, Nick.
I was just going to say it's a great thing if you can integrate even messaging a protagonist, or if you can build AI in the same way that you can have a conversation with Siri or things like that. I think there's great capabilities as well as the interactivity of the clicking, that you can multiple things inside that would be great. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think okay, so is there any other are there any other questions for Maria?
Just a quick question to make sure I understood the second opportunity where you say you can add a clickable element to the videos. So does it have to be a link, or can it be like, let's say there's a protagonist and I can click in the video on the protagonists what they are wearing, and then it takes me to a site to buy it. So does it have to be a link, or can it be just any element on the screen?
It could be any element, because right now it's done by editor manually. So editor could add any link to any spot in your editing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think well, thanks very much, Maria. That was really, really helpful. And
thank you. And again, would be happy to explore the ideas you might have of how using it. So please feel free to try out and let us know what.
Maria, you mentioned when we were talking the other day, has there been a competition in
what works and what doesn't?
Oh, I'm sorry, there's a little bit of a delay on the time here. This internet isn't very good tonight, but did you mention there was a competition in Russia?
Yes, we plan to have a competition in a week or two, maybe, between game designers of how we could create interactive games in Screenlife format.
Yeah. Because I think we should be thinking about that too over here, because there's been some really, really great ideas that have come through on that. So maybe you and I and Timur can have a conversation about that in the next couple of weeks.
For sure.
Yeah.
While Maria's here, I'm just wondering if anybody else has been using other bits of kit and technology from the Screenlife site, because there's so much on there that you could use in different elements of your proof of concept, whether anybody's actually taking advantage of a lot of the stuff that's already available from Basilev's. Or is everybody reinventing the wheel when it's already there on the website to help you?
Yeah, I think one of what we done, Maria, on which you already know, of course, was we set up the Screenlife UK website for cohort 1, so we could support each other to learn the subject. But I think now's a really good time to actually transport over to the Screenlife site, and start to take advantage of everything that's there, because there is an awful lot of the tools there are great.
There's tools section where you can download all the tools. There are also the Screenlife editing lessons. There's a lot of interesting material.
Yeah. Okay, great. Has anybody got anything else they want to ask? I'm just dead conscious that Maria's been at it for 3 hours before us, so we're already 9:30 over there, or 8:30. We good to go? Maria, thank you so much. I'll give you a shout tomorrow. and pick up on them questions we were talking about.
Thank
earlier.
you guys. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see all of your proof of concepts.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That internet was just too painful for me. I'm sure it was for her too, to be able to have to try and present with that that nightmare of delay, and it was really difficult. Was it the same for everybody else, or was it just me? Am I in one of them moods?
No, it was terrible.
It was really poor, wasn't it? So
Yeah, it was like Martin's connection. It was like watching Martin talk.
So I didn't want to put it through any more of that. So we're a little bit ahead of time this evening. So, I think we just crack on, to be honest with you, because it's a little bit pointless having a break already, isn't it? Let's just have a little bit of a 10-minute catch up. How's everybody been getting on with their proof of concepts?
Can I just ask where all this clobber is on the Screenlife website? I've got a load of reinvented wheels here. I'm a little bit looking for a rope right now.
Oh yeah, well
it's well, I'm not but I'm just wondering where I'm on the Screenlifer.com now. Where am I looking?
Tools, school and tools.
All right, thank you. As you were.
How's everyone else getting on?
Great.
Coming together.
Yeah, great. Okay, so Martin, how do we want to move this forward?
Well, I think we can move to Nick. Let's go to Nick, and then we'll have a chat, have some questions after Nick, and we'll see what time it is, and we'll have a think about what's most useful to people after that.
Okie doke. Nick, over to you.
That's good to me. Cool. 1 second. I'm just gonna see if this works. Can we see this?
Yeah.
Working. Brilliant. Okay. My internet's been a bit hit and miss today as well. So if it does, I've had about a minute where it's gone out today already on this Zoom. So please do shout me if there's any delay. Okay. So hello everyone. So this week, as we look towards our pitches, I thought it'd be really helpful to define and hone our target audience that you might have in mind for your project. I often find this kind of quite limiting. It's not the part of filmmaking I necessarily enjoy, but once you kind of understand it and you can find the right audience there, I think it's much easier to mix that business and creative side in selling your project. It is important to say that I think the industry as a whole hasn't caught up with the changing ideas of gender spectrum, and it tends to stereotype specific genders. But sadly, that's kind of the thing with this. It's stereotyping and generalizing with evidence, of course. But you will find a lot of these graphs that I'm going to show in a second will be quite binary, male and female. But yeah, I thought I'd run you through what I've been doing to garner evidence of what my audience might look like, or whether they'd be interested in the particular project I'm doing. So to see what topics might have specific peaks in the internet tracks of algorithms, can't say that word, and work out how we can best sell to a global marketplace. Hopefully you'll have some new tools to test ideas, themes that you might want to add, or you might want to test and see if your audience is interested in it, or maybe it's a specific person that you're making a film about. But let's dive in. Now, you've probably seen this before, but often the industry breaks down a film into the quadrant system. So there's 4 quadrants, males under 25, males over 25, females over 25, and females under 25. As I say, it's a very specific outlook. It doesn't allow for much room, but it does help show where your niche or your core audience might be, if you can specify where you think your film sits. It might even be worth scoring you know, the chances that that quadrant might be interested in your film. So for instance, I've scored it out of 5. I don't know if I've seen other people do that before, but it's been helpful to me to work out, you know, which areas may be more interested in the specific project. So this is just an example. Now, thanks to organisations like the Fantasy Movie League, we can see the stats in action. So here are some graphs of the niche of an audience within the quadrants. So here's one from a few years ago. You can see a lot of those films, the tentpole films, they believe sit in the male under 25 bracket. This is actually based on, is it the Nielsen ratings of ticket sales per gender and age. So you can really see there where the interests lie. Here's another one. You can see exactly where they are and where the interest is. 1 second. Sorry, I'm just on a call here. Just on a call here. I'm just on a call. Just on a call, Dad. It was bound to happen some week, you know, Joanne.
Oh my
That's
God,
made my day.
hilarious.
That's just walked in with the McDonald's. That's a beautiful day. Anyway, we're going to pretend that I'm really professional now, okay?
Oh my God, I better mute me.
I've just seen sorry, anyway, I heard the door going as well. Anyway, you can see Molly's Game audience, that directorial debut had 58% women, 56% of those were the age of 35, and needless to say, it shows that older films are out there than family films. Insidious had a pretty more split, you know, you had 51% female, 49% male, but you can see there how those are split. Right, get back on track now. So we got another one here, but you can get the idea. All of these are online, so you can just type in, it's this website, Fantasy Movie League, loads of detail on there. Okay. Now, if you want some better info, I definitely direct you in the way of the BFI's audience stats. They've got audience engagement stats of who's going to the cinema, when, what films they're watching, and test scores of films being shown on TV and streaming services, and they update it every few years, I think. But yeah, it might help you sell your film when you know this detail to go, right, I can quote the BFI in this pitch, or I can put this in my pitch doc and prove that films like my own sell, and this is the interest. So with age aspects of the quadrant being half the battle, first we want to find out the age of our target audience. And in doing so, it means coming up with the target age rating. We all know the 12As and the PGs, and the 15s and the 18s, but choosing the lowest rating, you know, so it's like a U or PG, isn't necessarily the best way to get your film sold, even though it might have a larger potential audience. In some ways, depending on your tone, you want to have a low enough rating to capture a lower audience as possible, but also that rating says something about your tone, the character of your film. So, you know, if The Wolf of Wall Street was a 12A, would that film have done as well? You know, that being a weird example there. It signals something about your film. So it's worth thinking about the BBFC and NPAA ratings. Now, hopefully, you'll need to consider, never have to consider the BBFC or MPAA rating yourself. A studio or production company would do all of this for you. But let's say you're an independent filmmaker and you want to self-distribute, you think that's the best way to go, or you've not got an option, you need to sell it yourself. You're doing a public screening with ticket sales officially, or you're selling it on DVD or physical media, you legally have to have BBFC rating. So you probably will encounter them at some point. You know, with these ratings, there's no how-to guide. You know, there's not a swear jar where you can only have one S word and one, you know, C word, or, you know, there's not that kind of thing. Even an F word could get into a 12. So these ratings are really based on people sat in a cinema, basically, making those decisions. after 1 or 2 viewings. Now, if anyone's interested of the costs of this, it normally costs about £7.50 per minute as a general fee, and then like £100 more on top of that. So really you're looking at about 700, 800 quid for a 90-minute theatrical release. And then, you know, if it's DVD or physical media, it's about 600, 700. And if you're doing it for, you know, Amazon or YouTube and you want to have a rating, you don't have to legally, that's about 300. And if you do all those in the same package, it works out much cheaper and you're just paying little bolt-ons. So you can mix and match there. But also the BBFC has a great service on giving advice on cuts of your film. So you can rework your film for your target audience, which is great. They're really nice to speak to. They get back to you very quickly, and you know, they're the kind of people that sit there with Christopher Nolan and go, you have to cut 10 seconds from Tenet for the BBFC to give you a 12A, which is what happened this year or last year with a specific scene, I think. But you can also get advice on scripts, and it's about £8 per page, and they'll tell you where they think with that script you're going really. So it's helpful info. What was I going to say? Now, MPAA, I've never dealt with the MPAA ever, but it's a little bit more expensive and it's based on the budget of your film. So if you're under 5 million, it's about £3,500. And if it's over 75 million, it's £18,000. So there's the numbers for you. But as you can see on this graph, you can see my mouse. Each year, the 50 is kind of the 15 equivalent in America is getting more popular, even though there's younger markets out there. So really getting that specified is helpful. Now, I'm not going to claim to be an expert when it comes to numbers and age brackets, but your audience really should be broken down into 3 elements. Your mass or expanded, your niche or core, and then your secondary audience. So finding your niche, it doesn't mean that other people won't come outside of it, but if you can really specify it, you can work to it. So if that's, you know, you're 20 to 32, it might even be more specified than that. It might be 20 to 25. And you know that they've got an interest in your themes and storyline, or maybe it's a particular news story or based on a specific person that that generation find interesting. Now, your expanded audience and your secondary audience are kind of influenced by that niche or core. They're the kind of word of mouth people that hear about it because that niche found it interesting. And you need to find that itch to scratch, I think. That's the phrase that I've been using. If you can't get rid of it and you've got to go watch it, if you can find it, the audience will come. So for my film, it's kind of a real world Batman, where Batman is, you know, in a global world where Gotham has become the kind of everyday life everywhere. And the other interest might be seeing the life of a politician. So if you can really specify, that's really helpful. Now, weirdly, your niche will probably bring in 80% of your audience box office, even though it's so specified. And then 20% would more likely be your secondary and expanded audience. So you might end up with an audience profile that looks like this. You might come away finding that your audience profile kind of says something completely different to what you thought. And I'll give you some ideas of how you can find this in a moment. But it means that you can help sell your film and create it in the way that's catered to it. It's definitely worth considering whether it's suburban or urban audiences as well. There's little intricacies like that that are really helpful to know. Now, let's open the door slightly wider to the international world. What other audiences might really love your film? Maybe this is, you want to cast an actor from that specific country. Maybe you're shooting there, or you've made an agreement with the film office in that specific country or town, and they can use that as a big marketing push. You know, we've seen this with Fast and Furious and James Bond, where they kind of globetrot. And really, it's just a great way of getting more audiences internationally, and also they get cheaper rates and taxes. But maybe it's a specific topic that that country finds particularly interesting or culturally relevant. But equally, on the side of the positives, it's worth considering what does that country not like. So China, for instance, has a really stringent belief on depictions of mythological creatures or mythology generally. So sometimes that can tick off a box or cross it in that country, and sometimes the film might be banned there. So working off the ticks and boxes there in each country can really help, especially with a big market like China or Russia or Australia, for instance, where your film might sell. So now looking at the detail, is there an interest in your genre, your plot, the themes, and how can you work out how to sell that within your film? So it's worth looking specifically at your genre. Is there still an interest in that specific kind of tone genre there? So for instance, here from 1910 to 2018, we're seeing a massive growth in thrillers, sci-fi, while musicals are falling down, and Westerns, of course, are dying a bad death. But you can see that there could be a resurgence there as well, but just having awareness of that's helpful. And here's, you know, for instance, streaming platforms really love the comedies and the dramas and thrillers. But yeah, there's lots of detail online that you can find from people like Lab 42. We'll come back to the numbers in a minute, the website, but this is a great outlook of how you can see whether your film's kind of core genre is still growing. You can see the box office numbers every single year, and it'll break it down very easily. But the core thing that I'd love to kind of, if you're unaware of Google Trends, I'd really love to share this with you because it's been very helpful to myself, is working out basically what search engine results are becoming more popular. So if you type in political drama, okay, it's a bit up and down at the moment. That's in the last 12 months. But I know for a fact that one of the most searched countries for that term is South Korea and the Philippines and Malaysia and Ireland and New Zealand. We get those facts from Google. Or if you change the word to political thriller, Hungary's got more interest, Germany and Switzerland. You can really just enter any word you want in there and Google will tell you how popular it is compared to other search engine results and where that specific audience is in the world. You know, here's one for Screenlife, for instance, where Russia is really at the forefront, and then the United Kingdom, because obviously we run this course, that might be one of the reasons why. You can see where these interests are lying, and Screenlife's been smashing it recently. Interactive films, that's been one that I've been using. How Taiwan's somehow got an interest in that. So once you get this detail, you can then research why. Why is it that Taiwan really likes interactive films? Why has China got an interest in it? Is it the MMO market over there? You can really hone into it. Skip through these, but even just changing words, film to movie, you can see the phrase alone changes the world's marketplace there. So these ideas are really helpful in the writing process to go, let me check if there's an interest in that, of what I'm writing about. Where in the world do people find it interesting? But the issue with this is that sometimes working out what's relevant now and, you know, relevant by the time of production and then release is really difficult because you're having to predict maybe 2 to 3 years down the line what's going to be relevant. Because if you've got the shoot, the writing, the development, the edit, you've kind of got to predict the future, which is very difficult. But also bear in mind, if there's been a massive downtrod, it might be that your film has a big peak because people have got a new interest in it. There is a bit of a fear about algorithms at the moment because sometimes if you over democratize all this stuff and make it so big for a big audience, you won't get films like Mulholland Drive or Parasite because the algorithms wouldn't tell you that that would be interesting. So it works for specific films, but if you really wanted to get a big audience, this is a really great way to go. But of course, good storytelling will always win out with that. That's my view, but I think it's really helpful to understand this stuff. Well, Google Trends tells us much more than just words and search results. It can tell you what are the most trending things within a year by country and by the globe generally. So for instance, I'm making a political thriller, so I've used this data here to tell me that the top 5 results in the country, and this is specifically the United States, found that the election results were more searched than coronavirus, or Iran was searched an awful lot that year. So what does that say? Joe Biden was more searched than Trump and Kim Jong-un as well. So you get an idea, and it also shows you the most searched films as well. Here's another one. This is the United Kingdom one. You can see what the most questions are. You can really vary it. As you can see, here's more. But you can see really easily what your film can do, especially if you want to do something about a specific person. You can see where that interest is coming at what month. Let's see. One of my favorite things is being able to compare two words and to see where they correlate. So for instance, I wanted to see if Bandersnatch had a massive interest. I found that out, and then I put the word Netflix in. But what you can do with that is you can compare the two. So what I saw here was that Netflix and Bandersnatch over the last 5 years, that Bandersnatch and Netflix were searched an awful lot in the exact same week. So that easily told me that interest in Netflix went up when this film was released, which is really, really helpful if you wanted to sell something. Or you can compare it to another film, for instance, as I've done here with Aquaman, that Bandersnatch was more searched than Aquaman that year, despite Aquaman earning over $1 billion. So it's really, really helpful if you want to put this in a pitch pack, or if you just want to quote it. Really helpful data. And it also shows you words that are searched after that, so the consequences of it. So IMDb, I'm sure we all know it. I'm not going to patronize you on it, but a really, really useful resource if you have IMDb Pro. So even if you don't, you can look up the most popular films at the moment, or you can use Time Machine to go back and see when a specific film came out and how interested people were. So I looked back and I found that Bandersnatch was the third most searched film at the time, within IMDb specifically. But if you have Pro, this is where the really interesting stuff comes in. You can work out what the ratings are by gender and age, and really kind of precise numbers. You can see who liked the film more, essentially, which is fascinating information, and who are US audiences versus non-US audiences. Obviously, we have to bear in mind when you look at that, you don't have an independent variable of who is actually using IMDb, because it's not everyone who rates a film. But at least it gives you a guideline of, right, okay, I know that 30 to 44-year-olds liked Bandersnatch more than under 18s, for instance. I don't know if that's true, but you can see what I mean. But yeah, there's loads of difference here. But then equally, you can test the popularity of a film specifically within it and compare the two, compared to its release and when it had new interests. So for instance, Unfriended must have come back onto Netflix around here or something, and that's caused a massive peak. Again, you can see what the audience numbers are of interest, and also the age that people were rating it on IMDb. And that's one for searching as well. Now, second best to IMDb for me are the numbers. A really great site. It's got a terrible interface, but it's a really, really useful place. You can look up the box office numbers for any film, and often it'll include the domestic and international, and it'll sometimes include the budget too. If you can use these facts in a pitch, then you're kind of comparing yourself to these films and saying, we can be just as successful. And one of the best features is being able to search a keyword that relates to your film and see how many films have been made about it and what the box office numbers were for that film. So if I'm making a film about hackers, I know for a fact that there's been 22 here, and sometimes they don't always have complete accuracy, but it's a great guideline. And I know that it's made, is it 500 million? I can't tell there, but my eyes are really bad. But you get an idea, and you can just search all these terms and keywords that might relate to your film, and you know exactly how much money these have made and how many films have been made about it. Here's another one to do with war specifically that I've used. But also don't limit yourself to that. If you can't find things that help support your film sale, places like Variety and the trades are really great at giving you info where you might not find it on the numbers, or IMDb. I try and read the trades every day and get notifications, because sometimes you just don't get those updates on those websites. But yeah, you can cite these very easily as well. But it's not essential to know, but understanding what matches your target audience in terms of what that target audience uses to watch the film is very key. So taking a look at what their viewing habits are. So here's some graphs, and you can work out whether your film might be a theatrical release or a streaming release. Really great numbers here that support streaming and show which streaming services are doing best. So, you know, for instance, here's Netflix, 23% of US adults streaming every day. You can see that more men have accounts, apparently. I don't know how they work that out. You know, where each person's using Netflix as a percentage. And then equally, you can use the numbers to work out which film studio you might want to sell to, who's doing really well, what are their box office numbers, how many films they released that year. That's another one, comparing theatrical to streaming, I think. But that's everything. Hopefully that gives you some insight in what I've done personally. Obviously, I'm not an expert in target audience, but I think it's good backing for your pitch if you find that you need that extra push. And other than my dad jumping in halfway through the call, I hope that was okay.
No, sound. I just really want a Mackey's now. That's the only problem.
So do I.
That was really helpful, Nick, for pitches and your pitch stack, and in development. That's all really super helpful stuff. Really interesting things in there. So I mean, the numbers. I take it that's a free site, or is it a subscription like IMDb Pro?
Yeah, the numbers is completely free. I think you can pay a small subscription to get extra access. So that might be, I think you can pay extra to see which actors are earning the most that year. That's one thing that they've got that IMDb don't. But really, I just use the free version and maybe use the 30-day trial on IMDb Pro to get exactly what you need.
Just a request on the chat there from Janie. Do you want to run through those sites again for us, Nick?
Of course I can. Sorry about that, Jane. So there's IMDb Pro, thenumbers.com. Which other ones did I use? I've used a couple of trades like Variety and Deadline, I think, in there. Let's have a look. Oh, Google Trends. Google Trends is another really good one. BFI's yearly report on audience stats. That's another good one. And the BBFC. And then the final one is Fantasy Movie League. So that, I think that's all of them. Double check. I think another way you can find out really good stats is to pretend that you're about to do an ad on Facebook, and it tells you exactly your target audience, and you can work out how many people are interested in that film in specific areas. So you could go onto Facebook, pretend that you're doing an ad, see the data. That could be another place. Anything else? Hope that wasn't information overload. I know it's.
I think it was really, really good, Nick. I mean, we've talked about this a lot over the last couple of weeks, haven't we? Just how important it is to know who your audience is for when you're pitching anything. and that is just breaking it down. I think it's really great piece of work and really important for anybody who's making a film, just to get on top of who their audience actually are. Makes it much easier to write it as well, makes it much easier to do most of it, but especially when you're pitching, if you're backed up with that information for your for who you're pitching it to, then it makes all the more interesting, because of course story's always the first thing to engage people, but making money from it is I'm not sure whether it's number one or number two. I think it's number one for us is writing and getting the right thing out there. But it is, you know, whatever it is that we do, it has to be marketable, and it has to be worth something to the people who are going to buy it from you, which is why they pay millions and millions of pounds for that, for the you know, for the rights for them. So thank you, Nick. That was really great.
Oh, no worries. If anyone does find box office interesting but hasn't delved into it before, I'd really recommend on YouTube Beyond the Trailer. That's a really good YouTube channel, and I think it's almost every day she posts an update, a weekly update on box office numbers, what films are succeeding, which aren't. That's how I got into box office prediction and things like that. If you like that kind of stuff.
We've all seen Dragon's Den, and we all know the thing that you come a cropper on in Dragon's Den is you don't know your numbers. And the more credible you are with explaining to an investor exactly why they should put money into this, because this has made money before, then that's going to be really helpful in every kind of scenario. And I guess we've got pitches to do for the next couple of weeks, so it's something people might want to have a look at when they're making those pitch videos, to think about numbers and audiences.
Couple of weeks? Don't you mean week?
Yeah, we do mean week.
I do
okay,
mean week.
thanks for that.
So how's everyone getting on then? Are you feeling the pressure? Is it getting hot in here?
It's like standing behind an F-16 jet, but you know.
Liam?
Yeah, to be honest, like I've just took a step back. I'm using this purely, like, obviously I spoke to yourself about it, and I kind of realised from my experience that like script writing is just not my forte at all. So to be honest, I'm just like, I'm not gonna pitch, but obviously I want to complete the course because I am going to use it for the performing arts school, and also especially for the education. I'm thinking more at the moment marketing, especially now we're allowed to actually reopen. So I'm definitely thinking the first project I'm going to do is like a marketing video, like a marketing kind of short, maybe a minute and a half, and get it up on Instagram, TV and things like that, and obviously be able to use that to kind of publicise that. And then obviously I think it was about week 3, maybe I actually asked about on the WhatsApp group regarding like the kind of click order stuff. I'm really interested in that as well. So Maria's like presentation earlier, it is really good, and it's definitely going to be the route I go down with the urban farm that I'm currently setting up. So the education side of stuff, because I'll just be doing.
Hi, love.
It's not on yet, is it?
Aye.
I've taken a step back from the actual kind of the script and stuff, but it's something I definitely want to progress with and be a part of. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm not writing. I'm not going to bother.
I think your idea and the beginning of your, you know, the developments of it are really good, and it would be such a shame for you to put it down and not pick it back up again. But I absolutely do get the pressures, especially, you know, we have and you can see it, you know, we've got a lot of very experienced filmmakers in the room who have just had to learn this bit but when you have to learn all of it, it might be a little bit too much. So so it's great as that as an upskiller for a traditional filmmaker, but someone coming in and going, right, I'm going to do this. And again, I don't think you should not do it. I just don't think you should do it in this like last week, because it's so good. It really, really is. It's a really clever idea. But again, when I sorry, Liam.
No, it's okay. That's what I said to Lindsay. Like, I've still got it, so it can kind of sit on a back burner, but kind of, because I think even about 4 weeks ago I said I had an idea, but I just didn't want to run away with it, and I didn't want to rush it and stuff. And I think it is one of them things. It's got to be nursed a little bit, especially the fact that I haven't got the kind of experience of kind of going out and like script writing and things like that, and kind of I think it was only about 6 or 7 pages. If in fact it wasn't even that, I think it was about 5, because I was struggling with it. But it was a struggle, and I was getting more stressed out trying to actually do that part of it, so it was becoming like unenjoyable, I suppose.
Yeah, I understand that. But and actually, I was thinking about you when I asked Maria to do the clickable thing, because I was thinking that is actually perfect, and the same for Phil. You know, it's perfect for and Andrew as well, to be able to just see the benefits and the you know, the properties within the clickable form, the clickable interfaces, to be able to tell that story. You know, I'm sure that there's all sorts of things online of the kids who you work with doing amazing dances, and being able to follow that journey is a little bit like your story itself. You know, there are things that you could personally, if I was you, I'd be thinking about a little focus group of you know, them young people who you're talking about in your script, and get them to write it with you.
One thing I was thinking of is, especially because we, like last year, we had 2 shows booked, moved one of them to an additional date, or moved it to another date. But obviously, so all 3 shows last year was cancelled, but we've managed to book the theatre for October time, obviously depending upon restrictions and things, but that's all booked in. So something I'm thinking about doing is possibly maybe kind of like, everyone always says, oh, we miss like the backstage area, and like anyone that's obviously been on stage or in a theatre, like I was talking to Lindsay the other day, and I said the word auditorium, and I just got all goosebumps, because I thought, oh yes, we can get back there.
We're nearly there. It's getting exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm thinking of kind of maybe doing like something like that with like a backstage tour and things like that, so kind of you know, something like that.
Liam, I just a thought, you could always do a mashup of like Step Up and Pitch Perfect with your dance group.
You could do. Yeah, my wife would be made up with that, but I can't stand them. But I know what you're saying, Chris. Yeah, definitely. But no, yeah. So that's where I am at anyway and stuff.
I think that's a great decision. That's a great decision, and especially with the you know, I mean, it's getting light. The 12th of April is just like, it feels like we're crawling towards it, doesn't it? You know, it's so exciting to just think about actually trying to operate in a normal society again. I'm a little bit scared of it as well, by the way, because this has been dead good, hasn't it? I mean, I think for us with Screenlife, and actually the way that this course has worked, it's like, you know, if we were doing it in the BME where it was supposed to be held, would we have managed to get there every week and spend the 3 hours? We probably would have, but it would have been a little bit more difficult than just, you know, sitting at your table and logging in. I mean, I think it's something that I'll definitely want to keep, but, you know, maybe a hybrid where you do 3 or 4, where everybody gets together and meets everyone and knows, you know, is able to socialise, but definitely keeping aspects of this online type of learning as we move forward. But it is dead exciting. It's really exciting getting out again and getting back to the real world. Is anybody else?
Sorry, go on. I was just going to say, my dad wouldn't have walked in if we were in real world, would he? He wouldn't have come in with the Mackies then. Most embarrassing moment of my life.
class. That was absolutely class. That's one for the edit, isn't it? You know, them little retakes. But the fact that he wouldn't listen.
Going. He's like, I know you've not eaten all day, so it's like, Ian.
Screenlife blooper reel.
Oh, that was bloody brilliant. Is everybody else getting on okay? I'm guessing, yeah. Busy.
Yeah, there's more work going into the pitch video than there is the proof of concept video.
Is there?
Mm.
Is that a little bit of an issue, is it?
No.
Do you reckon?
No, just making conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, Carl. You finish.
No, all I was going to say, the proof of concept's about 95% the way there, but I don't think it's one of them things that never will be finished, because you just think, oh, I could add that, I could add that, I could add that. So to me, it looks rough as toast, because in my head, I've already taken it 16 stages further.
Yeah, but again, and I keep on saying this, the more that we do it, it's like it's the concept that we're trying to get across with this.
Yeah.
You know, once it gets into development and production, then you can do whatever you want, isn't it? As long as you hone it in for the concept and trying to keep it like, you know, punchy and just right for that. For the.
I've got no chance. It's 25 minutes long. Is that all right?
So we've got an episode.
Joe?
Yeah.
Can I just, or can you just clarify what's expected of the pitch? Because I've had an email to and fro today from somebody who didn't even know that they were actually meant to be doing a pitch as well as a POC.
Oh, right. Okay. Is this Ollie?
Yeah.
I spoke to him this morning. So the pitch is just, and the reason why we're asking people to do this is so that they're not on the spot on the night. And bearing in mind that some people will come and some people will go, some will stay and some will, so making sure that your voice is there to sell your own work. So you know, it's just a case of doing the same again, isn't it? You know, check out what Nick's presentation a couple of weeks ago. It was logline, it was genre, it was audience, it was, you know, and the synopsis, if you like, and then go into the pitch. So it's only it's just a 2-minute opportunity to sell your work, you know, who you are, and then just, you know, make it flow straight into your proof of concept. But again, I mean, it is specifically so no one's put on the spot on the night, you know, and the nerves take hold and stuff like that. It's just about giving you, and you can do that if you want, you know, you can go in on the night and do it again. But for those who are not, my intention with your pitches is to get them all to Basilev's next weekend. Next weekend, we will have conversations about, you know, which ones they'd like to move forward with, have conversations with the you know, the directors and the producers about how we can do that, fingers crossed. Then I would like them to go to you know, the platforms and the studios who we've been talking to over the last couple of months, to introduce them to the Screenlife format as well, prepare them for your work which will be on its way to them next week. So I mean, it's for me, it's like I am only happy to send work that you are happy with. So if anybody feels like it's a little bit too much for them to get it ready for next week, then just wait. And you know, we're not going anywhere. You'll always have our email addresses and you'll always have our phone numbers. So if you're not ready for your work to go next week, just don't do it. You know, take a leaf out of Liam's book and, you know, go, okay, I'm going to spend another 4 or 5 weeks on that, because actually this isn't the end of something. And like I said at the beginning, it's the beginning of something. And if you're experienced enough to have something ready for next week, then get it to me. If you're not, then actually wait until you're comfortable for it to go. But don't feel the pressure. It's an opportunity. It's not a necessity.
Joe.
Yeah.
So the 2-minute pictures getting screened and then the proof of concept one after the other, or the proof of concept will be watched beforehand by the panel.
So the proof of concept will be watched beforehand, yeah. So the idea is for you to have it ready for next week. We get it to them, and then the week after we choose a number, because of course if 30 people said I want to do it, then we haven't got the space to be able to do it. So what I would like to do is show the best of on that night, because we'll have a number of people who are coming to talk about the experience, the Screenlife film format, the learning, as well as your work. So it's like a bit of an exhibition. However, all of the people who we're talking to about selling it will have already seen it.
It's also going to be a bit of a challenge to show them all on the 29th. So we kind of need them the week in advance, because it's going to be like planning 3 hours of live TV for the 29th, to have everything lined up and to have timed it all and make sure that we're all where everybody has an opportunity to see stuff on the 29th. And the sooner we've got some answers to that, do we know what we're looking at for the night of the 29th, then the better from our side, really.
Sorry, just to add on. So in the 2-minute pitch, is it worth including any inserts of the footage from the proof of concept, or just a straight talking head?
I'd do a talking head if I were you, Andy, because they're going to watch your proof of concept as well. And again, depending on how many we get in next week and how we want to view them, is how we will put the 29th. How we'll work the 29th. We were going to do it like the Dream app thing, but it's just not working out the way it should. So we want to work that. We want to develop that over the next couple of months. So like sometimes things are just not ready for the night, or won't be ready for the night. So we'll do something else. There's just been a question come in from Sam. Sam, I and anybody else who feels uncomfortable about making a pitch or filming themselves or anything else, ask one of your actors to do it for you, or somebody who's working with you on the proof of concept itself. It doesn't have to be the director or the writer or the owner of the IP. You can pull a favour from somebody in here to give you a hand and pitch it for you. And that's perfectly acceptable as well.
I've become semi-obsessed with Cameo recently. You could go and pay a minus.
What, the 80s band?
No, the celebrity website. So you can pay somebody 28 quid to do your pitch for you. You could get one of the
Michael
brother to do your pitch.
Michael Bine has been doing really well with that.
So who has, Chris?
Michael Bine. He was in Alien 3 and a few others.
And the woman off Tiger King as well. She's been doing a lot, hasn't she? I've just had a question about what's it called? About the numbers in terms of the what's it called? The percentage on the Google Trends. When it reads 100 on, say, on United Kingdom, that just means that that's the highest number, and then the lower the number is, it just means of the highest, each percentage is less, if that makes any sense. It's really hard to describe. Not all. I can try and screen share it, but
I did understand it till you explained it that way.
You'll understand. To be honest, it's self-explanatory when you really delve into it. But I was just trying to help on that. It's really hard to explain on text. I'll email them. I'll email it.
You should just quit when you were winning.
Just left it. Should have left it, Colin, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Daft.
Don't never go back to a firework.
Oh well.
There you go, Sam. There's an offer from you from us in the chat, offering to be part of the pitch for you. There you go. That's there's a very generous offer.
Nice one, Moz. Okay, so are we gonna do the rest of the evening, Martin? Because it's I'm just conscious that we're gonna have a break, but coming back later after the break, because we've already done the 2 presentations. Do we want to crack on and get away and do your pictures, or do you just want to come back and go back into breakout rooms? I'm happy to go with the consensus on this.
Sorry, can I just ask again? Can I just chip in with a quick question about the pictures? Is there going to be verbose feedback and critique of said pictures?
No, I hadn't planned on doing that. Martin and I could do it
after the event.
Yeah,
I don't mean live on the night, but you know.
Yeah, absolutely, we could do that, and I will probably be speaking to most of the people who are going to be looking at them, so I'll get their feedback, what they think of it.
That'd be boss, yeah.
And then me, Martin, and Karen could do the week after we finish. We could come back to everybody. We can arrange a feedback session.
Thank you.
Yeah, just don't want to do it live on the night.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
No. But it's just nice not shuffling off with your carrier bags at the end and wondering how did that go.
I will probably have spoken to people as soon as they come back to me. I will come back to you, of course, and let you know what the likelihood is of us moving it forward through this. And it could be, you know, there needs to be a little bit more development in the proof of concept, and that would be perfectly acceptable because of the short time that we've had to put it together. I mean, it's been a phenomenal experience, and just watching the really, really stunning pieces of work from most people, you know, even just engaging in the format has just been really, really great to be a part of. It's been phenomenal. And to be honest with you, I've learned myself, you know, as we've been discussing things, because you start to think a little bit more, don't you, and broaden out your own thought train by listening to somebody else's. You know, it's just been really, really great.
I don't know if anyone saw those articles about the Indian Screenlife film that I posted on the WhatsApp, but they are quite interesting because it's the first time they'd done the Screenlife format, and it's all about the process. Was explained really well about how it was like, I think, a week and a half to make the film, and then 3 months of post-production.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite fascinating.
Yeah, I done a shoot at the weekend with one of the competition winners, and it was they've been producing, well, they've been writing and developing the ideas, and then they're in post now. But it took one day to get all their filming sorted, and to be honest with you, it was stunning. Some of the work that they done was amazing. Really, really stunning, and I can't wait to see it, you know, the finished product. And but again, it's like even ensuring these things, which will be interesting for you, Janie, if you're out there, and any other producers, doing the insurance on you know, and for you, Agnes, too, the insurance on these. It's like the insurers don't know how to insure it, because it's not the same as your regular, you know, your regular shoot. You haven't got great big cameras, and you haven't got so many crew and all of that stuff. It's like really small, quick, in, out, even remote, you know. So there's things. Agnes was completely remote, wasn't she? She was directing from here to Honolulu. And it's like, it's a, you know, how do you ensure that when you haven't got what you'd normally have? It's completely different setup, isn't it?
Though I must say, in case of Honolulu, I would have preferred to be there in person, which I intend to do when we are shooting the feature film.
Absolutely, 100%. And these are things that we can't let go, aren't they? We have to stick with certain things, which is the international travel 4.2 instead of international travel 4.20. No, it's just really good, but again, it's like a completely different way of making things happen, you know.
I've just
Yeah.
posted.
Sorry.
So go on.
I was just going to say, you know, insurance must be a bit mental on this, because you would have to consider everything, wouldn't you? It wouldn't be the same. But no, it's a fascinating thing. I wonder how that would work.
Yeah. What did you just post then, Matt?
So I've just posted in the chat there. So Maria mentioned it last week. It's a Screenlife film that's made up of cameo appearances using the Cameo website to make a Screenlife film. It's called The Follow-Up. It's a little 5-minute thing. It's available on Vimeo. It's quite fun. I recommend it to you. There's some easy viewing. Okay, that's us coming up to 6:30. What I was going to suggest is, given we've had our 2 presentations tonight, and you've all put in many more extra learning hours for your POCs than was ever intended by the Department for Education in Liverpool City region. I think we put in something like 36 self-guided learning hours, and you must have all done like 10 times that by now, probably on your POCs. So we're going to
36 this week.
I know.
I hope you told that to the DWP, Colin. They're getting value for money out of you. That's what they want to
getting
know.
Valium for money. My eyes told me.
They gave me some nice medicine for that at the eye hospital. I'll write you. I'll give you part of the prescription. So what I was going to suggest is, if we've all got stuff to crack on with POCs and pitches for tonight, and we've got a deadline of the 22nd, then we should just do that, unless anybody's got any burning things they want to discuss. Joe and I are happy to hang about for a bit if anybody wants to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I absolve you from your obligation.
Did we have someone booked in for after the session tonight?
I thought Ryan wanted to have a chat.
Is he here?
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah,
Ryan, did you want to catch us now? Yeah. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. Okay.
So we're getting time off for bad behaviour? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
I'm expecting your pitch to be perfect now, Colin. Now you've had this extra time.
That's pitch perfect.
Oh, somebody started a party.
Sorry, just a quick one. Do you know the stuff that Ryan, I think, done? To be honest, I've been absolutely chocker as well. I haven't even had a chance to watch last week's yet. So to be honest, I'm going to watch that now. So it might be discussed in that. Do you know, like I think like kind of the overlays and things that some people have mentioned. Can we access that type of stuff in the future?
Yeah. And what I was trying to do, and I was going to talk to Ryan about that right now. Ryan has sent it all to me, but I can't open it because I haven't got the space on my computer. So I'm going to ask Ryan to send it to Isis, and she can put it all on the website. So it'll be a little bit like tools there as
like
well.
School.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. All right, thanks, John.
All right, Card, is there anything we need to mention about any housekeeping stuff?
No, nothing from me this week. we did mention last week that if anybody wanted to put an invoice through, could they forward them on to Joe? So if there's still anything outstanding that you need to claim back for within your budget, can we get that sorted in the next few days so that we don't, you know, we don't miss anybody?
Okay. next few days for getting your invoices in. All right, very good. Apart from that, we'll see you all next time. Good luck with your pitches. Good luck with your PhD. See you later.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Right, I'm going to go have my Mackies now. Sorry, everyone. I do apologise.
Enjoy.
Sorry. All right. See you later.
See ya.
I think I may have to pass the meeting over. Just hold on a minute.
Muzz and Chris must have went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Muzz said he was going to put the kids to bed, so he's probably
He just leaves it on.